A sponsor is somebody basically who is in charge of a cabin of kids. And I've given you, one of the papers is the sponsor's job description. And really there's quite a bit to camp, but the sponsor, the cabin counselor, is one of the most crucial areas and important areas of service at camp. And we always need help there as sponsors and assistants. Our goal is to try to put 2 in every cabin, but that doesn't always happen. And really the idea here is to watch after the cabin, to make sure the kids are safe, know where they're at, and to be there for them. Really it's just about being somebody who's going to watch after these kids and just help mentor these kids. It's really a fantastic opportunity. The years that I've been to camp and had the opportunity to be a sponsor were some of my best years up at camp. To have the interaction for a full week with these kids really does a lot. And you build a relationship up with them, and having them learn to trust you and talk to you and having them confide in you and asking, when they ask you, can you pray with me, is just such a blessing. And it's such a great opportunity to be able to do that. Or when you have that kid in your cabin and they ask you to pray about salvation, there's just no greater joy at camp than being able to do that. So the sponsor is really one of the most crucial areas at camp. Well, how do you be an effective sponsor? Well, the first thing is you got to be positive. Show enthusiasm, have fun, don't get down, don't get negative, don't complain. Yes, you may get up early. Yes, you may be staying up late. Yes, you may be busy all day long. But just put on a happy face, because we're here for the kids. Yeah, there's some nights where we don't get any sleep and we're really tired and frustrated. The kids don't need to know that. Just smile, keep loving on them, and enjoy the time. Attitudes are contagious. If they see you frustrated and you're complaining about the food and the schedule, they're going to do the same thing. If you're happy and you're upbeat and you're talking about all the stuff going on, your cabin's going to do the same thing. Remember, attitudes are contagious. Encourage participation. There's a lot of stuff going on up there, and you're going to get kids who are uncomfortable in new situations. Encourage the kids to try something new. Maybe they've never played a sport. Encourage them to try it. Maybe they've never done a craft. Have them go try a craft, or do the duck race, or try something new, do the shooting. Encourage the kids to get out there, to talk with other kids, to sit in new places. Encourage them to chat with new kids. If you see a kid sitting all by himself, encourage some kids to go talk to that one. Encourage participation. Being an effective sponsor. This is one of our key rules of camp. There are absolutely no pranks that go on at our camp week. We've never had an issue with this, and I don't intend to have an issue this year. The sole reason being is that nobody wins when you're on the wrong end of a prank. And it's just not worth it if a kid is up there and they're on the edge of salvation and a prank happens to them and then they decide against it because they were embarrassed or they were made fun about a joke. It's just not worth it. We're not up there to laugh at the expense of others. And the kids shouldn't be doing that. So there are no pranks at all. We're up there to encourage and to enjoy the time. So we've never had an issue, so just if you hear any rumblings about anything like that, just say no, that's not what we're doing this week. No pranks. Interact with the campers. Get to know them. Sit down, eat with them. Get involved in one of the activities with them. If you hear that they're going to go do something, tag along, go join in with them. The more you interact with them, the more trust you're going to build with them. And they enjoy that. They enjoy having that one-on-one kind of participation. So build a relationship with the kids in your cabin. Be available. This is something I've always stressed to my cabin. Especially, I've been very busy at camp many years. But I've always told my cabin that I am there for them. And I am 100% available. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm on stage doing something and you want to talk to me, you come grab me. If I'm in the middle of playing a game and you want to talk to me, you come grab me. Because my whole week is dedicated to the kids. And so they have my full attention, no matter what I'm doing. Be available to the kids and let them know you're available whenever they want to talk. Because it's not always going to be at the most opportune times. Sometimes it's going to be at odd times. Sometimes it might be during a meal or during an activity. Be available for them. Let them know you're available. Know when to step in and avoid crises from turning from molehills into mountains. There are going to be little grumblings, there's going to be drama, there's going to be this and that, and little things that happen. Quite honestly, most of the things that happen up at camp are really much ado about nothing. And when you see that, just take care of it. And just deal with it and get on about the business. You know, let's not allow little things to disrupt all of camp when it's really about nothing. And it's usually about, you know, they touched my towel and I'm so mad at them, or whatever, or boy-girl drama, who knows. Just don't allow that type of attitude and those types of things to have an effect on your cabin or the camp. So if you see something that's small, just take care of it. But also, you know, keep a good attitude. Don't allow it to continue to fester or anything. Once you've dealt with something, drop it. Get back to that relationship building and keep having fun with the kids. We're not there to be disciplinarians. I'm not there to have you guys usurp authority and beat the kids down. I mean, for junior high and high school, go for it. Beat them all you want. But have fun with the kids. There's going to be times where discipline may need to be used, and that's fine. Get it over with, drop it, get back to relationship building. Ultimately, lead by example. If you expect the kids to be at things, be at things. If you expect the kids to be at meals, be at meals. If you expect the kids to be on time, be on time. If you expect the kids to have a good attitude, have a good attitude. They're going to be watching you and taking the cues off of you. So as leaders and sponsors, please lead by example. Anybody have any questions about being a sponsor? Not yet? All right.
How many do you need for leaders?
We try to put 2 per cabin. And the reason being is a lot of times one of them is busy. And so there's a second person there to take after that. So figure we'll use 20 to 20, about 20 cabins, would you say?
25.
25 cabins, so I need 50 is what I would like. We'll end up with 25 to 30. So we need lots of people. If you have a preferred age group you would like to work with, we can certainly try to put you in the appropriate age group. Usually the cabins are divided by age groups, and the reason why we do that is so they can build relationships with each other. Some of my best memories about camp are the cabin times, are the times messing around, having fun with my sponsor and my youth group in the cabin at night. And there are many stories that shouldn't be told about cabin time. It's absolutely amazing, and I would highly encourage you guys, if you want a blessing, to get involved with the cabin, be a sponsor. It's just it's a great thing.
Your blood pressure would be up.
When you get home, you will sleep like a baby, because you will not sleep up there, but it's worth it. Any other questions about being a sponsor? Okay. I also gave you guys 2 pages that talk about facts that should be covered from the scriptures. This is leading a camper to Christ. Now, if this is something that you're not comfortable doing and talking with somebody about salvation, that is fine. It is not an absolute requirement to be a cabin counselor to be able to tell the kids and explain the gospel message. We would like you to know it and understand it, but if it's something you're not comfortable with, that's why we have other people up there to help. But be willing to sit and pray with them and talk with them. But if you have questions or you want some help, we gave you 2 pages that talk about how to lead a camper to Christ. When you have a kid, you get kind of clues. They'll have odd, funny looks on their face, holding back tears, kind of antsy, and you know there's kind of something up. Sometimes you can prod them a little bit with questions. If they start asking about salvation, the first thing you want to do is get an idea for where they're at. Because sometimes there's a lot of emotion that goes up at a camp. We're not here to make decisions based off of emotion. We're here to make decisions based off the Holy Spirit working on the kids' lives. It's not off emotion. So eventually you want to get where they're at with salvation, and I'll eventually get to a question and I'll say, why do you think you need to be saved? And I want to hear the kids' response. Well, because that's what I heard I'm supposed to do. Wrong answer. It's honest, but they're not ready. Well, my friend went up, so I thought I'd go up too. Okay, that's fine. I'll explain, but they're not ready yet. You'll get the kid, well, because I feel really bad about the sins and I want to go to heaven. I want to learn how Jesus saves my sin. That's what we're looking for. Eventually you want to get to, why do they want salvation? Why do they think they need Christ? And take that and then springboard off that and talk with them and explain the scriptures. We're never here to force commitments, okay? If a kid isn't ready, that's fine. It's not your job to force salvation. It's just simply your job to share the message. And if they're ready, that's great. If they're not ready, that's fine as well. Never force it. If they're not ready, just give them some more time. Don't confuse the kids with too many scriptures or get too deep. Use the Bible, be clear and to the point, and ask questions so that you can get an idea if they understand. Read a verse. What does that verse say? What does that verse mean? What are you supposed to do? And make sure they're understanding the verses that are to be covered. Have the kids read the Bible scriptures. Have them ask questions. Make sure they understand what they're reading. The next page gives you some kind of a basic outline to talk about salvation. Really, there's 3 points you got to get through to talk about salvation. There's different ways of saying this. Some of you may have done this different ways. There's no right or wrong way. Ultimately, you need to talk about the need of salvation. You need to talk about how that need is met, God's provision, and how do we take care of that need? What is required from me? What's the step I have to take, which is that faith, pronouncing that faith in Christ. There's another way to say it. You've got to explain 3 things between God, Jesus, and them, right? You've got to explain that God, the holy creator of everything, is separate from the world and is perfect. And we are sinners. We have sinned and separated ourselves. We've missed the mark. And we cannot have a relationship with God. And Christ is the one who bridges that gap, that through his death on the cross, we can then have that relationship with God. Different ways of explaining it. I would suggest taking this up there. I usually, if I have a Bible up there, I will put a little index card and paperclip it or tape it to the front page of my Bible, or I'll write the scriptures on the front page of my Bible, 5 or 6 verses that lead right through that. So if I'm up there and a kid is asking me questions, boom, I've got the verses to go to. Don't count on your memory. Just have the verses highlighted, ready to go. Grab them and you can explain it. If you're not comfortable, grab myself, grab any of the other leaders that are up there. We're here to talk with these kids. So this is all here for you guys to review. Eventually, if the kid is ready to accept salvation, they need to pray. There's different ways of doing this. The way I usually do it is which is kind of outlined here. So there needs to be recognition of sin. Kid needs to recognize and admit the sin in their lives. There needs to be an understanding that Christ came and offers a sacrifice for those sins. They need to accept Christ as Lord of their lives and as the sacrifice for that sin. And the invitation for that. And then I always close it off with thanks. To kind of recap that, once you've asked for salvation, you know what? You've received it.